ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, whatever you are. This is my newest build. This is something that was going to replace my primary weapon system's AR upper that honestly I wasn't super happy with. I really wanted to take advantage of the 7.62 by 39 round. Specifically, this has some pretty unbelievable power up close, especially in steel cord variety. Now, normally, you just go ahead and shoot your, M855 with its little steel core, light armor piercing. However, this does have a little bit more power when you go to a shorter barrel setup, like this pistol. I was shooting an SBR in that primary weapon system Mark 111. However, I just wasn't getting the reliability that I wanted, especially with the gas system. So, while that's not common with PWS Mark 111 pistols, I didn't want to continue to mess with it. So I bought Century Arms Romanian Draco, and then I just couldn't help myself and I started tearing into it. So what we have here is, as I had said, a 12-inch Romanian Draco. Now, what makes the Romanian Draco really nice is that it features a 12-inch chrome-lined barrel, and because it was a pistol when it came in, did not have to apply the 922R requirements. It is still a pistol, and so I don't have to run SBR stuff and run a bunch of American parts. The nice thing about that, and I suggest you look into doing the same, is that everything in the running gear of this pistol, including the barrel, which is chrome-lined, the gas system, which is very standard, and the entire running gear, which is the spring system, as well as the trigger and the bolt and everything, is all actual Romanian, which is good. You don't have to have those 922 compliant parts, like if you were going to WASR 10, that is, a bunch of American parts that have been substituted on. So, now this does have a bunch of American parts on it now. If I decided to SBR this pistol, I'd probably be okay. This is a Korean mag. What I have done to this is to make it a little bit more user-friendly for me for 50 yards and in light barrier combat stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and safety check. We are clear inside. Let's make sure that we are absolutely safe at all times. What I've done with this gun is that I have added the Midwest Industries Alpha chassis system. You can call it a chassis, you can call it a rail system. It is an integrated rail here, as well as a dust cover that connects down here into the rail. Retains the rear sight, retains the front sight. This one is modified. Normally, this rail system only comes to here for the true Draco. The 9.5-inch version, I have the 10.5-inch version that actually sticks out just a pinch, a hair, a pair in front of the barrel. And I have had to do some custom inlet for this front sight. That is on me. That was my decision to do. I have also made sure that I put the Primary Arms SLX 1X sight. This is a good sight because I have astigmatism. And I believe that it helps me acquire targets without having to wear glasses or have to deal with the starburst. As I'd said, the entire running gear is factory. The Magpul K2 grip, I believe this is. Yes, this is the K2 polymer grip. This is not the rubber one. I like it a lot, and it gives you a more vertical grip so that you can tuck it up close. This is the CNC Warrior pistol brace. It's excellent because it does fold. You do have to give them some instructions on what direction you'd like it to fold, and it interfaces perfectly with the Draco, which has a flat rear trunnion that is all the way flat. All you have to do is remove the QD nut and bolt from the back, and there is a hole that allows you to directly interface. So there is a lot of direct contact between the back of this rear trunnion and the pistol brace. And this thing is solid as a rock. It's about $200, but it may be the single most important modification to this pistol, even more than the Alpha. The alpha is great, but to be perfectly honest, it's superfluous. A very important thing as well is to be able to run a safety that has a little bit of a springboard for your index finger. You can get one from Krebs. This one is from Hyperfire. I have also run the Texas Weapon Systems Hobnob, which is fabulous. This may be one of the most valuable modifications. If I were to do this all over again and I wanted to go less tactical, I would just simply go with the CNC Warrior rear brace. I would go with the Krebs or with the Hyperfire safety and with the Hobnob. And of course, a gigantic muzzle brake. If you're going to watch any footage of me shooting this giant Hellfire Area 419 muzzle brake is awesome because one, it's self-indexing, and two, I am using a adapter here that gives me the teensiest little bit of barrel length so that I don't have to worry about running any muzzle device deep into the handguard, which would have been a problem. So, on top of that, I am running a Reptilia light body, as well as the KE2B and the tail switch for the M600. So, this is a very expensive light setup. This is a very expensive muzzle brake. To be perfectly honest, I didn't use these because I wanted them for this gun. I actually just have these on other projects, and I pulled them off and I put them on here. The reason that I've done all that is because they go on here really well, and this stops recoil unbelievably. Now, one of the things that I had to do was shoot this gun a bunch and then go back and retighten all of these little bolts. There could be as many as 20 little bolts and nuts in here that will work themselves loose with some shooting. So you will have to go through and make sure that everything is on there tight. One of the things that I wish I could have had a little bit different would have been some kind of top mount QD system, or maybe something back here, but this is part of the brace and you don't want to mess with the brace stuff for legality reasons. Of course, the Midwest has a couple of QD mounts in different places, and of course you still have this area where your original sling loop will go. So the reason that I love this gun is that it gives me the most power that this 7.62x39 pistol can give you without diminishing returns. What that means is that anywhere between 12 and 16 inches on a 7.62x39 rifle or pistol doesn't give you as much extra horsepower as it would in something like a 5.56. However, anything shorter than about an 11.5 inch, and you start losing enough velocity to where the benefits of this round no longer apply. But we are in a perfect little Goldilocks zone at 12 inches or 12.5 inches, where this round still maintains superior ballistics, especially with your magnetic rounds, wink wink, that you can use it against light targets. So for something like a truck vehicle, it's great. This gun is very heavy, and one of the problems with this now is that it's very front heavy. However, as I had said, if I were to do all of this over again, I would leave it as it was. I would find a tremendous 14x1 left hand muzzle brake, 2 or 3 port. I would not put a light on it. I would just run the wood factory furniture on it. To be honest, it was a little lightweight. I might look into swapping it with something a little bit heavier duty, or maybe even something polymer. I'm not a big hater of that. I would get good magazines. This one came with some US Palm magazine. It also works great with a PMag, which sometimes you have to look into. It did not work well with Polish mags, as I had seen, but these are Korean. I call them K-mags. These are like $10 Korean mags, but they work fine. They're a little bit hard to see, and I've actually had to spend a little bit of time doing some sanding and rubbing on some of these just to get them to have some nice, flat, sharp surfaces, but that's apparently something that you have to deal with when you deal with AKs. So if I were to do this all over again as a truck gun, I would have this gun, full-size Romanian Kujir Draco, CNC, Warrior, brace. Make sure that you have yourself a good safety. Get yourself a hobnob and a giant muzzle brake. This gun is fabulous. I absolutely love it. And I hope that if you're considering something similar, you will look into the same gun. I am Six Semper Spoon. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Hope you're doing well out there, and never forget your Second Amendment.